Also been telling you about some of that breaking news all morning. Last night at midnight, AT&T's DirecTV removed Newsmax from all of its systems, including DirecTV Stream and all.
Meantime, there's a long list of liberal news networks that are still in the systems, and they get paid the same fees that Newsmax is asking for.
And more blatant.
Persecuted. Oh, Jesus.
Example of politically motivated censorship is hard to imagine. And this coming as we have all the revelations, thanks to Elon Musk at Twitter, of government-sponsored censorship. Is this something being done in league with the White House, with the DNC? We don't know, but we know the facts of the case. At Newsmax was asking for fair remuneration, which is exactly the same for the top 75 channels on DirecTV, 22 of which, 22 are hardcore left-wing news.
Well, welcome back. Well, the great Anne Robinson is in the studio. We're with me just a couple of moments. Hello, you can hear me earlier.
What happened? You can't afford sound
I said,
in the green room.
I said just turn her off, because by the time you get out of here, I knew you'd be giving me hell, but it's lovely to see you.
It's lovely to see you too. Could I have a cup of tea since I'm woke and I just woke up? I mean, I'm awake and I'm baked. I mean, I don't smoke weed. That causes people to masturbate.
You know what? I think as you've got older, you've got better looking.
Thank you, Anne Robinson.
And look, there's bits of grey, but it's quite nice.
George Clooney has grey hair. Thank you. Not looking bad yourself.
No, for an old woman.
I'm going to come back to you in a couple of minutes, but I think you may want to hear this.
Okay.
Taylor Silverman is a world-class skateboarder. She lost out on first place.
She's a world-class skateboarder? Wait, actually, is that the same as professional anyway? World-class. Is this special rhetoric I'm going to get tricked by? She's a world-class skateboarder. I think that would mean that she's pretty good. Actually, really good.
At a Red Bull Cornerstone event in Lincoln, Nebraska last year to a trans competitor and biological male, Lillian Gallagher. And she felt robbed, but she stayed silent until now. And then this week, she took to Instagram to call out Red Bull for allowing trans athletes to compete against biological women. In the post, she said, "I deserve to place first, be acknowledged for my win, and get paid. I reached out to Red Bull and was ignored. I'm sick of being bullied into silence." Well, Taylor Silverman joins me live now. Taylor, thank you so much for joining me.
Look, she's got her skateboard right behind her. She's like, yeah, you know, it took so long for me to pop shove it. And once I did, everyone was like, oh my gosh, you have like the power of Jesus. Because I prayed that I could kickflip, and I still haven't really shown a kickflip in any of my videos. And I don't even have a YouTube channel as a world-class skateboarder that shows all my amazing tricks that deserve first place. And, you know, once I learned to do a 180 on a skateboard, I realized, wait a minute, I can do a 180 and get famous, like do a metaphorical, political 180. Oh, wow. Maybe I'll learn to 360 shove it now.
You can hear me?
Hi, Piers. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak to me. I really appreciate it.
There's a slight delay, Taylor,
you.
so let me just put this to you. Why did you feel that you were robbed? I know that it cost you, several $1,000s, the fact that you ended up coming second when you would have hoped to win. But why did you feel robbed by the person who beat you?
I felt like because the person who won is a biological male, they had an unfair advantage in the competition. And not only was I robbed, but other competitors who are biological females were also robbed.
Oh, that's interesting, because it's hard for me to argue like a weightlifting competition or even football, to be honest, or even basketball. Many sports that males do very likely, very obviously have at least somewhat of an advantage over most females, at least. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily put most of these big mouth socialist, oh, I'm sorry, they're not, no, it's not socialist. I can't switch the ring. What are they called again? Nazis. That's what they're called. You know, I wouldn't put a tough, let's take the toughest, no, let's just take Ben Shapiro. Could Ben Shapiro or Matt Walsh, for instance? How about Tucker Carlson? Any of those tough guys on here, could they beat up, say, Ronda Rousey? Or is Ronda Rousey not a biological female? I mean, there's plenty more females, too. similar to Ronda Rousey. Maybe they're actually secretly transgender. Oh, didn't think about that one, did you? That's because the media doesn't share that. Yeah, I pulled a Tucker on you there.
Yeah, and this is the key point I keep coming back to on this issue, is that there is an inarguable physical advantage. If you've been born as a biological man and then you transition, I wish you all the very best. I want fairness and equality for you, but not to the point where it creates a new unfairness and inequality with women born to inferior physical bodies, which is the reality in almost every case.
Correct. Almost every case. Not this one. Skateboarding, you're not going to be a greater skateboarder if you go to the gym and you just do calf raises all day long and you got massive calves. That's not going to teach you to tray flip. You're not going to be able to get more air in the quarter pipe because you have stronger masculine legs. It's just, no, it doesn't have anything to do with the difference between a male and a female biologically. This just shows how much they spread this nonsense in a very intelligent way. What's the Bible say? Cunning.
I agree completely.
When you found yourself competing in this particular competition and you realized that you were not going to win, how did it make you feel? How did it make the other female competitors feel, especially?
I'm sorry, I won't keep doing this, but I would say that she and the other ones felt a bit betrayed because they're ignorant, but in response to the fact that they're being ignorant, I would say that because of that ignorance, they just came off as sore losers.
Those who didn't get, in the end, any prize money.
Well, I can only speak for myself, but I felt like it was an injustice because I really deserved to be recognized for the hard work that I put in as an athlete. And unfortunately, because of the situation that I was put in against my will, I didn't get what I earned and deserved.
Okay, maybe I'm wrong. If I could see more than what I've seen in all the videos so far of this female skateboarder, maybe she was better. How about they play a game of skate right now? Her versus that transgender skateboarder that took her first place from her trophy and her money. And let's have a game of skate right now. Let's go to the barracks and let's have a game of skate and let's put it out there. Let's not edit it, nothing. Let's do it. And then let's see how bad you lose. And then if you get second that time and we can see that the transgender skateboarder is scientifically, biologically better than you, rather than you just aren't a pro skateboarder at all, you're a fraud, you're a scammer, you're no different than the Nigerians calling over here trying to get our money. Go, hey.
Taylor, because
And when I tried to speak up, I was silenced and ignored.
Right, and we've heard from Red Bull tonight. They're apparently going to reach out to you again, but I've been trying to work out how we resolve this.
Oh, there we go. She's kick turning in a bowl. Kick turning in a bowl. And these fucking dumbass news spokesmen or spokespeople don't even know what a kick turn means. They probably think it means the skateboarders go out and kick Republicans in the face.
Issue, and it seems to me you either are going to have a separate category.
Oh, did you see that? Oh man, was that seriously a board slide? She deserves first place.
For trans athletes, that trans women compete against other trans women, or that trans women continue to compete against men, given that they're originally biological men. What do you think is the fair way to resolve this?
Not allow transgenders to compete with biological males or females? That would probably be the best.
I think that it would be really awesome for there to be a place where trans women can compete in a fair way. And I also want to say that I don't want people to send hate to this person because they are a great skater. And this was just an unfair. I was just saying, I think that to create a space that would be fair for trans women to compete against each other would be one possibility, but I also don't feel like it should be women's responsibility to solve this issue or have trans competitors thrown in to our group because they are biological males and they do have an unfair advantage.
Right, and I just don't
It
think
takes
it
away
is.
opportunities from athletes like myself.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anything that you're saying is transphobic. In fact, the opposite. You're nothing against trans people or trans athletes. You want to end the unfairness which you have experienced.
Yeah.
Taylor, I've got to leave it there. Thank you very much indeed for joining me, though. I appreciate it. And I applaud you for speaking out. I think silence is the enemy here. This is an issue that has to be resolved, so thank you.
I really felt a moral obligation to speak up because I recognize that not only am I affected by this, but a lot of women and girls are being impacted by this in a negative way, and not everybody feels like they are able to speak out, but I've been put in a position that I feel like it's best for me to use my voice now.
No, but you made the right decision. Taylor, thank you. Thanks again. Appreciate it.
Wow, this is a reverse psychological strategy that's been playing out for a long time, but has grown into this massive beast of just, it's the devil. This is the devil. So I just thought it was funny because I know as everybody was watching that, they're saying, this wasn't even Newsmax. Well, this is Newsmax. And this will be enough for not me to know that this girl's not a pro, but, I mean, other than the fact that she's holding the most, the most mainstream zero deck ever sold. I mean, wow. She's got a classic there, though. I mean, Zero's my favorite brand too. So that actually kind of gets under my skin even more that she's using Jamie Thomas's brand to spread lies. But at the same time, I bet Jamie Thomas is just laughing because I've met him. He's not someone who's going to get involved in this. Plus, it doesn't matter. None of this is going to matter when their false god does not allow them into heaven because they don't. For one, even if it is there, they ain't going to get in it anyway. And even after that, if they had any truth at all in anything that they believe, then the divine will of God would have already allowed Jesus to come back, since he's apparently coming back soon. Now, what does soon mean? I guess the word soon has about as much factual information in its definition of a word as this video does on skateboarding. Because if someone's coming soon, like if I say I'm about to come soon, and I better not go that far. That's too much. That's too much of a sexualization.
Woman twice.
And she joins us now. Taylor, thank you so much for being here to tell your story. I just want to jump right in here. Talk to us about how you've been holding up, the support you've gotten. Has there been any luck getting your situation resolved?
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate you taking the time to talk to me tonight. And there's been a lot of support. At first, there was a lot of hate because it was a social media post that blew up very unexpectedly. But luckily, it was shared by some of the right people, and a lot of people have reached out with support and encouragement and thanked me for saying something because they felt like they couldn't.
So let me ask you, there's a lot of our viewers watching right now. They probably aren't skateboarders. So could you explain what in particular gives biological men an advantage and how that factored into these recent events? I really couldn't imagine the amount of practice you have to put in to land those tricks.
Yeah, I mean, I am a skateboarder, so it would be nice if she would give me some valid information, show me some more of her videos that she's obviously, definitely, uploaded to some sort of, maybe she just kept it on a camcorder, because her parents don't allow her on social media. That's fine. Show me anything. Show us anything at all that proves that you have the tricks that a pro skateboarder has to have in order to be a pro skateboarder. You got to have something that proves that you're a pro, something of that level, male or female. And I wasn't looking that whole time actually, because I've already seen this before. But I did notice the rock and roll. That on the quarter pipe for you Republicans that used to think skateboarders were just terrorists. That was called a rock and roll. Yeah, it's called a rock and roll, but not like Satanic Panic rock and roll. Well, actually, yeah, it is. But just so you know, okay, skateboarding is not a crime, and we need to start. Well, we already have been speaking up over that. Skateboarding is not a crime. We're not extremists. Okay, it's these two, the left here and then the one on the right. not the girl in the middle. She's not an extremist. She is an indoctrinated child. That's all she is.
Yeah, and I think that it's pretty clear that biological men have an advantage across the board in most sports. And in skateboarding, you know, we are built completely differently. They're stronger. They have more muscle than us. They are less prone to injuries, amongst other things. The list goes on. But I think it's pretty easy to recognize, if you're just using common sense, that biological men who have gone through male puberty have the athletic advantage.
I love how she definitely knows how to spew out this nonsense, though. But I look at this more as like this girl here speaking about it is more under a demonic possession in a way. She's not necessarily trying to play along with this agenda, but her mind and her heart is far from God. She speaks it from her lips that she is of God and fair and just and lives a righteous life and just wants all this to be treated the right way, and she's not homophobic, and she's just trying to point out all this because she's silenced. And the truth is that she's not. It's demonic because she's deceived. And like I said, she may speak the truth and God from her lips, but her heart is far from God. And how do I know? Because I'm simply testing the spirit. And what her tree produces is no fruit, because it's a dead tree. Produces no fruit.
Well, Taylor, I have to say I appreciate you speaking out. When I first heard your story, I told my producers, I said, we have to get Taylor on the show because I really wanted to hear your perspective, because for a lot of people, a lot of women, girls like yourself that come speak out about these things, everybody attacks it and they go after you for it. So I'm curious, I mean, what do you hope to see come out of this, not just only in your sport, but in all sports, to protect women from the left's push to just diminish your training and your athleticism?
I really hope that my story raises some awareness, if nothing else. I think it's really sad how much hate we've seen come from both sides of the debate. And I think that if people could respect each other so we can have a reasonable and rational conversation about this, that's our best bet at solving the issue and creating a solution.
And notice there how cunning that was, how she tries to not just blame the left like Newsmax does. She wants to make it sound like, hey, I'm not, just some kid that grew up in a Bible-thumping Republican or conservative far-right extreme family who, is going out and shooting guns and preparing for doomsday or anything. That's not me. I'm saying the right and the left, they need to come together and unite. I'm just like, the liberal is only the actual real liberating one. And, we need awareness, but to not be woke.
Taylor, do you think there are more women like you, skateboarders that out there that agree with you but are too scared to speak up?
Absolutely. And I've been getting messages from women who participate in all different sports and parents who have young girls who participate in different sports who are all concerned about this or have witnessed it in their own life and just don't feel like they're in a position that they can use their voice because they don't want to face any potentially detrimental consequences in doing so.
See, there was the whole motive. Just like when they kept saying the schools are woke, schools are teaching CRT, schools are promoting transgenderism and all these things, and then people were, all the right-wingers were watching like, oh, that's what CRT means then? I was wondering what that meant the first 70 times I said CRT. Oh, they're teaching, oh my gosh, they're teaching homosexuality, transgenderism, and this whole accept yourself and deny God philosophy in our schools. How dare them? And then their voices started picking up. Oh yeah, because of course, conservative Christians don't have a voice when they're out in the streets preaching anywhere they want. And if anyone tells them to stop, they're persecuted. Since when have these people not had a voice? The people that don't have a voice are the outcast children that just simply say, well, I don't really agree fully with your Bible. And then they get beat with it and shit on and burnt with fucking cigarettes and thrown in a room all day and can't come out and see the sun. But the sun's going to show up later and save the parents.
Well, Taylor, again, so glad that you spoke out. Please continue to raise your voice. I hope other women do the same. Thank you again for taking the time to be with us tonight, and we wish you all the best.
Thanks for having me, and thank you for your support.